Hello and welcome back to the Totally Football Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing many points about game week 13 that has just passed us. Today I am joined with Shakai Eswick, Sean Deakin and also Elliot Offer. I'm Harrison Derlin and we hope you enjoy the podcast. Let's get into it, lads. How are we all feeling?
Feeling good.
Depressed.
Why is that, Shakai?
Being a Man United fan, it's not really going well, but what can you say?
We all right, Elliot? Everything good?
Yeah, I mean, West Ham we're doing our usual, aren't we? But it's what game are we starting on?
We're going to start with the West Ham Tottenham game. What were our thoughts on that game?
West Ham were good for the last 20 minutes, like every game this season.
Like second half, we always come out so much stronger than the first half. First half, right? I mean, Harrison, I can see your notes, and I'm reading through them, and I agree with every single one of them. Hannah's first touch,
terrible.
Ridiculous.
Anderson, no work rate, put no pressure on the ball throughout the whole game. I thought Cresswell was soft for the second goal. Yeah, Lucas Moura is probably quicker, but at the same time, you just got to show more desire. If you've been at the club for how many years has he been at the club? 5 years now, and it's his fifth season, I think.
No, I think this is his
sixth season,
yeah.
fifth or sixth season.
He started playing for us when we still had Alpre FX as our
Yeah. And I remember in the 14-15 season, he got the Hammer of the Year, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was brilliant that season.
Yeah.
He's a bit up and down.
But he just showed a lack of desire for that goal, and I just feel that it's weird because we've gone from digging. We've gone from succeeding at the top, and we've been going. If we win this game, we'll go fifth, or we'll go fourth,
and we've
third.
And
now we're saying if we lose this game, we'll go 16th.
We've done our usual at the start. We're going, European football by Christmas. Let's stay in the Prem.
What's West Ham fans' ambitions like? What do you
Europe?
You want to go for Europe, like Europa League or Champions League? Like, what's the
Europa League?
If we're being honest, Sean,
a cup.
We would love to be in the Champions League, but realistically, no fan expects to be in the Champions League. That's a dream, right?
For me, I don't even know if it's Europe.
I want European dream.
I'd love the FA Cup.
Yeah, but then it's Europe as well.
Right, I'll tell you what. If we could be guaranteed a decent run in Europe, I'd say definitely. But if we're literally going to qualify for Europe and go out in the group and waste our time. Yeah, but if we're going to go out in the group and just waste our time and it affects league form at the start of the season,
it's not worth
then what's the point? But if we get to, say, the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, which isn't going to happen with the squad we've got because they've got a lack of work rate, lack of everything, including the manager, but we'll get on to that in a minute. I would rather see us, personally, go win like an FA Cup, for example, and not get into Europe. I'd rather finish 8th every season and win the FA Cup.
I mean, the thing is, I think if we got the FA Cup this season, I think it would be really nice because it was 40 years since. Yeah. It's been 40 years since our last major trophy.
That's embarrassing.
That is.
I mean, we've only ever. when we talk about major trophies, we've only ever won a single trophy. Well, 2 single trophies in my lifetime: the Betway Cup and the playoffs, which I went to. I went to the playoff final. Probably one of the best days of my life.
Can I just say, the reason for the terrible form right now is because of Roberto. No, it is because he's conceded. 16 games, 16 goals. In like 7 games or something.
They have no confidence in Roberto.
Yeah, have you seen him every set piece?
The back line have no confidence in Roberto, and then that reflects across the pitch.
The whole team has no confidence in him.
He's got no confidence in himself, though.
Yeah, but I feel
every set piece he.
But does Manuel Pellegrini strike you as the kind of manager that would put his arm around Roberto and say, "Don't worry, mate, I still believe in you. I think you're a class goalkeeper." He doesn't, does he? He go, "Oh, don't worry, Roberto, you played amazing today. You only cost us 3 goals."
Yeah, only 3. Don't worry.
It could be 4. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It just seems like Pellegrini has a total lack of bottle when it comes.
Should he really need to do that for Roberto? Like Roberto is so bad. Like it's literally. Say to him, come on, get better.
Who decided he was the one to bring in?
The sporting director.
I forgot his name. Whatever his name is. I
mean,
he worked. But last summer he was brilliant, and this summer every single signing has flopped. It's depressing.
Stefan.
When Haller first came, and when we got him, I was so excited.
Haller.
Yeah.
Because I watched him at Frankfurt and I thought, my God, we got some player on our hands. I mean, he had better goal to game ratio than Jovic, who went to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And we're talking, Real Madrid don't usually sign flops. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but the thing is, what you've got to look at with Haller is look when he was good for us at the start of the season. Look at how much service he was getting.
Oh yeah.
Look at how much service he now gets.
He's getting no support.
He needs support.
But I'm sorry, the fact, what really, really wound me up on Saturday watching that game against Tottenham is the fact that, yes, Haller's struggling, yes, he's getting no support, his first touch hasn't been great, but when he lost the ball, when they pass it back to the goalkeeper, there is only one player on that pitch that's playing for us that is willing to press the goalkeeper. Would you like to say it for us?
Robert Snodgrass,
Thank
my
you.
hero.
But what
Scottish
Haller
man
is
hero.
is a centre forward or striker, whatever you want to call him. His job is to score goals and put pressure on the opposition defence. I didn't see him once close down the ball
He
in
did not
their
do it.
defence.
He did not do it once. But if we're talking about the team as a whole, I think that even though we did have shaky players in our midfield was our strongest area. When we look at Rice
played well.
Rice had a ridiculous game.
Talking about
He played out
Rice,
his skin.
why is Roy Keane coming out in the press? We didn't hear any of this when he was playing for Ireland. Hold a minute. When he was playing for Ireland, he was blowing smoke up his backside, saying he was the next B-Tech Roy Keane. And now, as soon as he goes to England, all he does is slag him off because he's salty about him leaving.
Oh yeah,
Ireland.
wouldn't you be salty? Like,
Do you think he's salty, or does he just... Because you've got Roy Keane's experience
'Cause-
player. He's a legend. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to CDM. So
Yeah.
obviously...
But he's going to be
Roy-
biased
Roy-
'cause he's not happy.
I do think part of the thing with that though is when he played for Ireland, he wasn't playing as a CDM. He was playing as a centre back. So
Yeah.
Roy Keane rated him as I think Roy Keane rated him more as a centre back than he did than he does
If you
now.
look on at Saturday,
CDM.
if it wasn't for Rice, that could have been 6 or 7 at half time. I'm not joking, it could have been.
Easy.
well, and Diop played well.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, he's a Diop. He's
Good player.
a ridiculous.
Can we just talk about what are your opinions on Ryan Fredericks?
I like him.
I like him.
I think that he's quick, he's decently strong, he's strong in the tackle, but quality on the ball and reading the game, I think he's awful.
I mean, I think he's good going forward, and he's okay going
But
defensive.
when
What
you say he's
Zabaletta's
good
the
going
other.
forward, you tell me once that he on the right hand side for the whole of the first half and some of the second half.
Yeah, maybe not this.
You had
season, but,
Yarmolenko running down the right hand side, right? He cut it back to Fredericks, and rather than whip it in first time to Haller, who is 6 foot, whatever he is, 6'3", is he?
6'3", yeah.
He's tall enough to win a header, let's be honest. Why is he not whipping in that ball first time, putting pressure on the centre halves, putting pressure on the goalkeeper, creating chances for Haller, and anyone else who's in the box?
I think that's just a
but
problem with
instead,
all the
he'd rather
players.
take a touch, roll it back to Noble, and say, "Oh no, you do it. I don't want to take responsibility. You do it." 'Cause
Yeah,
if he puts in a bad cross, he knows the fans will get on his back.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
can't be
I
scared
think,
about that.
Yeah, but I think everyone in that team is.
I saw it more from Fredericks than anyone else.
But-
Cresswell is not afraid to cross the ball at all. I don't think.
But with Frederick, he was good at the end of last season. I can remember the Southampton game in the last season, and he was good at the beginning of this season as well. Before for some reason Pellegrini took him out for Zabaleta.
Yeah, when
hasn't been good.
Pellegrini swapped him for Zabaleta, his confidence just took a huge hit. And the thing is, I think that if he keeps getting the regular football he gets now, he will improve. He will definitely improve.
So, what are our opinions on Pellegrini? Obviously, I don't think they're going to be very positive. But Elliot, just give us a brief.
Get rid of him.
Give us a reason why, Elliot.
The players have no desire under him. I looked at that pitch, and the only players that actually looked like they cared were the ones that care regardless of the manager. Like Noble, obviously, Mark Matthew Noble bleeds claret and blue. Yeah, Noble will put in a shift for any manager. So obviously Noble, Snodgrass. I think Snodgrass just wants to win first team football. That's why he was working so hard.
But he loves
And-
the club as well.
And Rice is just a bowler. But you look at everyone else, right? I mean, you could say Diop, but I think Diop has grown an affinity for the club as well. But you look at 90% of those players, they're not. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's it's such a crappy situation because I mean, you look at Anderson, right? I remember when we signed Anderson, start of last season, right? And everyone was like, "Oh my god, like look how sick he is," and he came and he was good. But now Anderson stopped caring really.
No, he hasn't cared at all ever. He's so on and off. He'll be good one game.
Yeah, he is.
But then he'll just not. He doesn't really track back that often. He doesn't try.
He started
that
to
hard.
track back more though.
I mean,
Can I bring something to your
Go
attention
on.
to bring it off the Anderson topic? We'll go back onto
yeah.
that. So I've got a quote up on my phone here from Mark Noble before the Tottenham game. This is his words, right, when speaking about the Tottenham game. This is, I don't know who he was talking to, but this is what he said. This is on the West Ham Instagram, right? You'll see the passion and pride. We know we'll be together, the fans and the players. This is one match I wouldn't want to miss. What part of that did we see on Saturday? Because in my opinion, we saw nothing.
We saw him.
Normally, the fans and the players up their game for Spurs. Like last weekend, they didn't. Not even the fans did.
Yeah, half the fans didn't, and I can't. In a way, I can't blame them. I honestly can't. The way this club, I just.
They should. The fans should always get behind them.
But the fans will only react to the way that the team are playing. If they're paying
it's
good
hand in
money,
hand.
if they're paying good
I'm not
money
being
to
funny,
turn
I was
up and
looking at
support a
Tottenham
team,
tickets, they're like £70.
yeah, but if they're turning up right in their numbers, paying good money, and they've worked hard for that money, and all they're seeing is a bunch of players who are being overpaid and not putting in the work rate, why would they get behind them? Why would they? If they're not even getting behind themselves by putting 100% in, why should the fans get behind them? Would you support someone who's just being lazy and basically
I think it's
thing
stealing
is-
money from the club?
Against Spurs, I just should always give it 100% for the fans. And
Yeah, but
even the players when they're not playing well, like it's Spurs, you gotta.
It's Tottenham.
West
You've
Ham
got to-
fans will always tell you, and I'm sure you lads will agree, and so I'm sure Shakai will probably agree, even though he's not a West Ham fan. All we want to see every single match, whether we're playing Bromley or Manchester City, all we want to see
Work
is
rate.
110%. If we have a lack of quality on the day, then we say fair enough, but they tried their best, and you can't fault them. That's all we want, a bit of work rate, but we didn't even see that on Saturday,
No, we
and
really,
it was a
we really didn't.
disgrace.
It's such an issue.
So in my opinion on Pellegrini, right, for me, there's no plan, there's no purpose for the team. I think we play slow build-up football. Teams can shift across defensively, so we'll play from the left back to the centre half, to the left back to the other centre half, and we'll pass it round the back, hoping that teams will open themselves up for us to run through. That's not how it works. If you look at Leicester, every single match, no matter who they play against, it's one-touch pass. Because by the
It's
time
quick-
you get
it's
it to the other
quick
side of the
tiki-taka
pitch,
football.
the team hasn't. By the time the team has shifted over to the other side of the pitch, you've stretched their players out. Because they're not all going to be they're not all going to be moving directly proportional, if that makes sense. So you can stretch teams out if you move the ball quicker. But all we do is move the ball slowly. Anderson doesn't run in behind like a winger should do, like Antonio does, for example.
Oh, and I think
So
Antonio.
Anderson wants the ball to his feet, and then he cuts inside. He's slow to distribute it, slow to make a decision, and most of the time he'll lose it. And the fact that he loses it, and then he doesn't even bother to track back most of the time. And you can say he tracks back all you like, but he makes it look like he tracks back. He hangs out half a leg and then goes, "Oh, that's my bit. Now it's down to Cresswell."
Yeah.
That is not how it works.
I
when you're supposed to be
honestly
our
think,
top player.
right, that Antonio should be starting over Anderson.
Well, he just came back from injury.
Yeah, that's
so
the only
Yeah.
reason.
No.
I would honestly rather see Nathan Holland play over Anderson. I'd drop Anderson to the bench straight away.
Do you think Anderson will be another Arnautovic 2.0 type situation?
No, I don't think he's
Nah.
got the attitude and ego of Arnautovic. I think Anderson needs a manager to inspire him to go out there and have that work rate.
I
And,
mean, I'm
and
not being funny.
motivate
When we
him.
brought Pellegrini in, we were all really excited because we went, "Wow,
Oh,
look!"
Because he was a
mate,
Premier League
That's
winning
the only
manager.
reason we
Yeah.
got a season ticket, because I wanted to see Pellegrini at West Ham.
We were like, "Wow, look at all the things he's done." But I think this is Pellegrini's sort of winding down his career now.
Yeah,
He wants to come
yeah.
back. He wants to say bye to the Premier. He's
He's-
winding down. So the players, right? You notice when we first had him, we were like, "Oh my god, wow, we want to impress him." Now they're like, "Really, who is he?" Like,
But no, the problem with him, he has he's awful tactically. Like
He's
in
awful
the Spurs
tactically.
game, he brought on Carlos Sanchez. in the. When I
we're
saw that, I
3-0
thought,
down.
why?
He's
I thought it was stupid.
He's
I don't
awful
get it.
tactically,
And
and I don't think he's not the kind of manager that you're going to respond to. Like, if Pellegrini came in and went, "You're having a bad game," like, really, how much are you gonna?
Yeah.
Do you know,
So who would you bring in for Pellegrini? Because I'll give you a bit of news.
Go on.
About Eddie Howe.
I've seen
Eddie
Eddie
Howe is apparently.
He said he
Sean,
wanted to.
Sean Dyche as well.
No,
Oh,
Sean
not Sean
Dyche is
Dyche.
apparently staying at Burnley. Apparently, our main number one target now is Chris Hughton.
Yeah, but have you also seen David Moyes?
David Moyes is going to Everton.
Yeah.
That's apparently confirmed.
Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is in that, but
I did
I'll
see
tell
that.
you
he's-
one rumour that won't go away, but I personally don't believe it, is Rafa.
I
Well,
love Rafa.
He's getting his
but he
big
won't
bucks
come.
in China.
If-
I
He'd be
think
brilliant.
If we
be
had
so
Rafa,
good.
I would, because Rafa, I think Rafa Benitez is one of the most underrated managers.
But I saw on West Ham Fan TV, what's his face? I think it was Ryan. He was saying, no, we don't want Rafa because that's just another Pellegrini trying to see his career out because he's an old, whatchamacallit.
we'll
But what's the point in bringing in a 40-year-old Eddie Howe or however old Eddie Howe is? But if he's not better than Benitez, it doesn't matter about his age. I do get his point slightly about Pellegrini, but Pellegrini might as well be dead. That's what he looks like, a dinosaur, let's be honest, with skin hanging off of his face.
He looks like a dinosaur, and his tactics are the same.
His tactics must be from 1910.
Yeah,
Because
they honestly are.
bringing on Carlos Sanchez when you're 3-0 down,
down,
I mean, bringing on Carlos Sanchez when you're 3-0 up is bad enough, let
Yes.
alone 3-0 down.
And also,
But-
he's so stubborn to change the
Yeah,
formation. He will never do
sticks
it.
with players that aren't putting in the work rate. It's not enough
He sticks with the
competition.
names.
And whose idea was it to let three strikers in Andy Carroll, Hernandez, and Perez go?
That was so
and
stupid.
all we brought in was Haller and Ajeti.
That was so stupid.
I was really annoyed when Perez went because I think he was good when he came off the bench. But
Yeah.
I
didn't
mean,
get any
look at
chances
Perez's
all.
record now. He's had what, 11 goals in 13 games.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I don't know. I haven't even
Like,
looked in.
I think Perez got treated so unfairly.
Well,
So-
yeah, he did in Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
So, Elliot, who do you think, if you could bring in one manager right now, so if you look to your phone when you get out of this podcast,
yeah.
and
It
you
was like-
and you saw that they had said West Ham sack Pellegrini and a point, and then it says who would you want?
Any manager, full stop.
No, realistically,
Within reason.
that's available. So you could
Okay.
say Eddie Howe, for example, Rafa Benitez, Pochettino, but
Easy.
Allegri.
you got to be
Easy.
you got to be realistic. Do you
See-
think we get him though?
My thing is, right, yeah, is I actually wouldn't mind Poch. I think Poch long term, no. I think Poch short term could be quite good for us. Because when he went to Tottenham and he made the initial impact, he wasn't given much money. He was given a squad and he was told, go. We're not
It's
But-
more chance
so-
of me being the manager than Pochettino.
Yeah, I mean,
But
He's kind of
I'd
buy
love
him.
to have Rafa, though.
But Pochettino, he was there 5 years, and they didn't start to drop off properly until what, last few months.
That's
Yeah.
that's because
So
they
saying
never
it's a
change.
short-term thing is a bit extreme, I think.
No, but you know what I mean, though. Like,
Yeah, he's not going to be there for 20 years,
Yeah.
but what manager is these days? Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger and all that, they're gone. It's not going to happen.
Their
It's
age
too
is
commercial
over.
now.
yeah, definitely.
You know, it costs too much money to go down or to
within
not win
reason,
something.
out of all the names and rumours I've heard, Rafa would be the one.
So
for
you
me.
go
I
with
would
Rafa,
like-
Shawnee, do
I
you
would
think?
like Rafa. If
Yeah.
if we stay until the end of the season with Pellegrini and stay up, I reckon we could get Rafa.
So from an outsider's
I
point of
don't
view,
even
you're a Man
think
United
Pellegrini that
fan,
long.
Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who do you
but-
think West Ham should appoint? And don't tell us we're going to appoint, for example, Alan Pardew because you want us to get relegated.
Oh,
Who'd you,
imagine
if
if
you
we
were
had
West,
Pardew.
I got no hate towards West Ham.
Pardew.
if you were West
Pardew.
Ham, who would you appoint and why?
I think Rafa Benitez would be the most sensible choice, considering what he did with a championship side. Got Newcastle to 10th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think he
True.
just, I don't think he would get you into the European spots yet, like in his first season. But if he gets backed in the summer, he could get you 6th,
Well,
5th.
considering we're 17th, sorry,
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
16th, we're 17th. Let's bear that in mind. I can't see us getting anywhere near top 6.
I think
I reckon we'd be
Rafa-
lucky to get top 10. But me personally,
Rafa.
I'd have to go Rafa. I mean, Eddie Howe.
Uh,
The only thing is, when he went to Burnley, flopped, and still like Eddie Howe with Bournemouth, because there's no expectation. No one ever highlights the fact Bournemouth are so inconsistent, and that's our main problem with West Ham, really, isn't
Yeah,
it? Especially
inconsistency.
last season, inconsistency.
I wouldn't mind Eddie Howe though. 'Cause
Yeah,
what
I
he's
wouldn't
done with
mind him,
Bournemouth
but
is
Rafa,
amazing.
I think, is a proven
I think the fans will get
class
behind
manager.
Rafa so quick as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Because I mean,
I see what
you talk to any fan who loves football itself, not necessarily a team. You
They
say
love
Rafa.
Oh, they
and-
love Rafa.
and-
Unless
and
you're
you
a Man
ju- and you
United
ju- and you
fan
just
that
can't
is-
not
hates
smile.
Liverpool. Do you hate Rafa?
I don't hate Rafa.
Fair enough. I'm sure older Liverpool fans who remember his success at Liverpool.
I don't like Klopp though, but that's another story. But we can go into that another day.
Alright, we'll go into that when we start talking about Liverpool then.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, real quick, talking about West Ham stats. I saw a stat. We've signed, I think it was like 64 strikers.
Oh, yeah, and
since,
Ogbonna's scored more goals than most of them or something.
yeah, there were only 8 strikers since Dave Sullivan and Brady took over that have been outscored by Angelo Ogbonna.
Oh my, that's awful, isn't it? Considering
That's just-
Ogbonna's was injured for a while, he doesn't
He
always
was out.
play.
He was out for about a year, and then even when he came back, he was very in and out of the squad because of the injury.
Let's talk about Antonio then. We will move on to from West Ham. Don't worry.
Yeah, I
it's
feel
alright,
like
it's your
we-
podcast.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
not- it's fine.
We should move on at some point.
But let's talk about Antonio. Well,
Right.
I think he's absolutely brilliant. I've said that for, since the 15-16 season. I think he's powerful, he's
Pirate.
quick, he's strong. On his day, he's
He gets
a decent
injured a lot,
finisher.
though.
Yeah,
He
I
does
think-
get injured, but that's because he works his backside off.
Yeah, I know.
I
He's good when he's there.
I genuinely think, right, yeah, if Antonio had a season of regular football, there'd be a phone call with Gareth Southgate on the end.
He's too old
He
now.
wouldn't get over Sancho, Hudson-Odoi though. Like, that's,
No, I think
He's
there's too
too
much
old.
talent in our team.
Yeah.
If Allardyce is in charge, perfect, because he can hold up the ball, let other players run on.
Big Sam.
But the way England want to play, I think Antonio's had his few caps, and that's him done now.
Yeah, but I think he's good enough quality, but he just won't
He's
fit
too
the England
old.
squad.
No, there's too much talent there. He's that level below international.
Yeah.
I believe though with Antonio, we could build a team functioning
definitely.
around him, and
100%, yeah.
that team would do.
But
absolute
he is the
bits.
definition of what Anderson isn't.
I mean, I'm not being
Strong,
you,
quick,
you look
determined.
at every time we've got Noble and Antonio on the pitch together. We look like
Makes
a different
such a
team.
difference.
We look so much
Oh,
better.
let's just mention Fabianski. I'm sorry, he's our most important player. And
I
said
miss you
that.
so much.
I said
miss
that
you.
about Fabianski. I remember when we were at school, right? And I think it was you that asked me it was you that asked me who is the most important player. And this is back in February and March.
super.
And I said Fabianski, and that's proven to be right
100%.
now. But
I think the way
even more so when got Roberto's back up.
I think
Yeah.
Fabianski does a lot more than just be a good goalie, though. I think
he's brilliant.
I think he's
He
like
commands the defence.
he commands the defence, but I also think he has a lot more of an impact in the changing room. I look at Roberto, I look at him on the pitch. If he's like that in the changing room, then he adds nothing. But I think Fabianski can add something in the changing room.
Yeah. So, what are our opinions on Tottenham's performance? Really going away from West Ham. Did we all see that Dele Alli flick?
Oh, that
that
was
was
filthy.
Dirty.
mental, wasn't it?
The thing is, right, as a West Ham fan, I hate everything Tottenham do, right? But I looked to that and I just went, fair.
it's
Dele Alli
beautiful,
somehow
wasn't
turned into Messi for the first half. He was
it?
exceptional.
He was ridiculous.
It's like the Dele Alli when they first signed him.
Did he turn into Messi or did we just make him look like Messi? Because we have the ability.
He turned.
We have the ability to turn any team into Barcelona.
Let's just
really.
bring something up, right? With the West Ham Tottenham game. So West Ham had 47% possession. Obviously, Tottenham had 53%. But if we actually look back at the game, it honestly felt like Tottenham had 80% of the ball.
Yeah,
But that's because
we were
when
so
we have the
useless
ball-
with the
Yeah, when we
ball.
do have the ball, like I said earlier, we move it slowly. We allow teams to press us. We push ourselves into corners, basically. Not literally, but mentally, we're basically backing ourselves up against the wall. It's only so far you can go, and it gets to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about Roberto, because what's the bloody point? He's useless.
I'd much rather. I'm getting to a point now where I say we recall Nathan Trott and chuck him in goal. See how
Or
What's
did you
that-
even
what's
give
happened to
David Martin?
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, he's only a training. Apparently, the report is he's only on 50 grand a year. That's apparently. I don't get.
I mean, he was a backup at Millwall, and he's only
50
there
grand a
because his
year
dad
for playing
was
at West
Alvin
Ham.
Martin.
I mean, yeah.
I'm sure the
was-
chef at West Ham's on more than
Probably
50
gets more
grand a
than that.
year.
I'm
It
not
probably
being funny
is,
though.
isn't he?
Really, when we signed him, like Sean just said, he was signed because look at his dad. Look at what his dad done for the club. Let's all be really like happy and ignore the fact that we are not a good football club.
So with West Ham, right? And this is the last question about West Ham. Do we think, right, what would you rather? Bring in someone like Deitch or Benitez, have a stronger defence, grind out results for the rest of the season, finish 11th or 12th, or go more ambitious, try and get an Eddie Howe or someone like that, try and play more attacking football? It might go wrong, might end up in 17th, 18th or whatever, but we've also got a chance of getting 8th or 9th or 7th. Would you rather go for the safe option, play more defensive football just for the rest of the season, like we did with Moyes, which I thought works because we were brilliant on the counter-attack, or would you rather see more attacking style, a bit more risk? What
I'll
do you
just
think?
be safe right now.
I 100% agree. I think if we got Benitez, I think that would be perfect for us because he could grind out results for us this season.
Yeah.
If he gets a budget in the summer, no matter how, the thing with Benitez is no matter how small his budget is, he'll pick one player and that player
Build
will
his
have,
team
He
around.
could get
will
the
have
best.
such an impact.
He can get the best
Yeah.
out of Haller, just like with Rondon.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
and Perez was similar to Anderson.
Yeah.
And we've got much more quality than what Newcastle had.
Yeah, let's
so
be
if he
real.
can do it with Newcastle, I'm sure he can
I'm not
do
being
it
funny.
with us.
Imagine if you got the best out of Anderson, Yarmolenko, Haller, Lanzini just behind there.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
What's
like,
happened to
Noble deck. Sorry, go on.
Full Nows? What's happened to that
Oh,
guy?
He's just been really bad.
He's been
Just out of
bad,
interest.
but I don't think it helps the fact that basically every single training session we watch is on YouTube, and they're all basically messing about
Yeah.
doing rondo all the time. I mean, we never see any of them actually putting in any hard work. We see more, YouTube videos of them doing Guess Who and all this with
Right.
Soccer AM than we do with them actually
I think
training.
I think with Fornals, he's too weak. I reckon there is a good player there, but he
He
just
needs the
to,
right manager. With Rafa,
Yeah.
if you look at Perez, very
Yeah.
similar player, right? Maybe Perez slightly further forward, but Fornals, similar attributes. Perez isn't the strongest, but he's decent at passing, got a decent shot on him, technically gifted, let's be honest. I watched him at the Euros, great player. He needs the right manager. Pellegrini, he's not a coach. He's just a man who
Pellegrini's
got
not a man
lucky at
manager.
Man City, let's be honest. He got lucky at Man
He
City.
should have done way better at Man City as well.
Yeah.
The team,
Yeah, he should have done a lot
He
better.
underperformed. in my
And
opinion.
it's all fallen for him. He's a very lucky man.
Right, let's move
But-
on from West
yeah.
Ham.
But
Are we going to talk about Poch?
so we're going to talk about Poch. What's
Yeah.
our opinions on the Poch sacking? Because it could go either way,
I
good
think
or
it was
bad.
unfair.
Why
I
is
think it
that?
was wrong the way they did it, but
Yeah, the way that he
it
didn't
is
even
a
get to
blessing,
say goodbye to the
really.
players. I
Yeah,
think
did you
that
see
is-
the note he wrote?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
But I
sad,
think
that, isn't it?
they have Mourinho now. They'll win trophies.
It worries
Next.
me though, because did you see Tottenham have just been bought, been bought by new owners, right?
Have they?
Yeah. Did you not see it?
No.
They were bought by the guy who owns the New England Patriots. So Mourinho is about to get a fat budget, and that, as a neutral, excites me. As a West Ham fan, terrifies me.
you,
That
yeah.
terrifies me so much.
Yeah, because
But as
we're
a
jealous.
neutral, I think it would be good because Poch with a, not Poch, sorry,
I
Mourinho
feel
with a
bad for
budget.
Poch
is
though, because
always-
if Poch had been given that money,
if Poch been given that money,
success.
Yeah,
I'm
but he's not a
sorry.
better manager than Mourinho. Mourinho's
No, he's
far
not.
ahead,
But I still
in my
think that
opinion.
what Poch did there deserved the chance. To
what
spend a
Poch
bit
did
more
there
money.
with no budget,
Because let's be honest, Poch hasn't been given the chance with lots of money to be able to prove himself, whereas Mourinho has.
But I think the getting to the Champions League final kind of papered over the cracks. Because if you look to their league form towards the end of last
They were
season,
poor, yeah, especially
Poor.
away from home. Terrible.
so you have to go at one
So
point.
would you have sacked Poch?
I would have, yeah. You need something fresh. The players need to be motivated by a different person.
It's because they had the
You
same
saw
players for so long.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have. I think I would have given him a budget. Summer just gone, and then this would have been his make or break season for me. I think that if he give him a decent budget, get some new players in. If he's not ramping up performances from previous seasons, that's when you get rid of him. But he was never given a budget because I mean, you're talking about like someone new to motivate him, yeah. But imagine someone new to motivate him, and then a little competition in the squad as well.
True, but I think if you're in a changing room, right, you see Poch walk in, he walks out, and you see a 2-time Champions League winner, you see a 3-time Premier League winner just walk into the change room, you're gonna be like, oh my days, Mourinho. You're gonna start to feel a bit different about winning
Yeah.
trophies and stuff.
Bit more of an ego there,
Yeah.
isn't there, that you're
There
going to
is,
look
but
up to?
The
No,
best.
a good ego in a way.
Fergie had a massive ego.
Yeah. Same
So-
with Wenger.
Yeah, but I mean to be fair, Fergie can back that in a
Fergie's
second.
on another
So could
level.
Mourinho.
I don't know.
Right.
So do we think that Mourinho is a great appointment? What do you think?
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think
United
if he
fan.
if he can evolve, like not be like what he was like at Man U.
No.
I think
Towards
he'd
the
be
end of
great.
Man U, he was just.
But I don't blame him though, because the owners, the structure of the club, it's a whole different story. So it wasn't really Mourinho's fault.
The
It's
thing is
people
with
at the top.
Mourinho at Man United, how can you look? I was someone who did basically slag off Mourinho as his time at Man United, and since then I have looked back at him and thought, hold on a minute. You look at Moyes, you look at Van Gaal, you look at Mourinho. None of them have succeeded. Ollie hasn't succeeded. Yes, he had the good little fairy tale
Well-
few months, but after that, it's all gone to pot.
look at the
Mourinho
bigger
got them
picture.
to second and won.
And he won the Europa
Europa
League
League.
and won.
And
Was it the
Jones.
FA Cup?
Yeah, I think he won it.
No. We got to the finals for Chelsea. Got the
Did
League
you?
Cup. And the
Oh,
Europa
the League Cup.
League
League
Cup.
Cup against Southampton. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even that game you were lucky to win, but let's not talk about that
Zlatan.
because Gabbiadini had that goal ruled out for
Yeah.
offside, didn't he? And it wasn't offside. But VAR would have sorted that out. Let's not talk about VAR for
No,
the
No,
minute.
fuck VAR.
For the minute. But so we're all saying Mourinho is a good appointment.
Yeah.
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 100%.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have gone for someone maybe a bit more long.
Well, I would have gone. I would have gone
Like
from.
that.
I would have gone for Max Allegri, but I don't know if they'd have got him, or the Ajax manager. I forgot his name.
I just think when Mourinho's on the market, you just have to go for him because of his record everywhere. He's
Yeah.
won trophies.
Mate, about the Ajax manager, I think he's one of the best managers around. I know it
He's the
sounds
best
ridiculous,
up-and-coming
but the
manager.
way
What's
they
his name?
play football and he
Oh, it's
brings
like
through
Ein
youth,
Tag or something. Like that.
Eintag. Yeah.
the way
So
he
I
brings
can't-
through youth and the
Sorry.
football they play is one of the best I've seen.
Sorry, just going back to Mourinho, I think that you know how the ages have like the best players of the age, the best
Yeah.
managers of the age. I think in 30, 40 years' time, Mourinho will be talked about the way that we talk about someone like Ferguson now.
True. 100%.
I 100% believe that.
Special one.
Quick question. I don't want to go into a massive debate,
Sure.
but Pep, Klopp, or Mourinho? Like, if you're saying from the whole career, like, who's
Klopp.
better? Who would you rather have managing your team?
Right now, Klopp.
Who would I?
What are we talking about at their best?
At their best, at their peak. So, like,
Oh, at their
Madrid,
best, Mourinho.
Madrid, Mourinho, Pep at, I don't know, City or Barca,
Like
and then
Inter Mourinho.
into
That
Mourinho,
was-
and then Klopp
Oh,
at
Inter
Liverpool,
Mourinho.
Dortmund, whatever.
Inter Mourinho, I'd take over.
I think he was better
Yeah.
at Madrid, but
Just saying,
He didn't even like the treble,
everyone
so-
watching on
Fair enough.
YouTube, and is there a comment section on SoundCloud? If there is,
Yeah,
make
there
sure
is.
you comment.
probably
Klopp, Pep Guardiola, or
Mourinho.
Mourinho.
Who
Prime.
do you think is better?
Did you say Pep?
No, Mourinho. If it's saying like at the
Just
the
peak,
height,
yeah.
peak, yeah, peak Mourinho.
I think Pep's a bit overrated.
Same.
Same.
Pep is a decent manager, but I think if you look at every job he's gone to, if he went into a club like West Ham, he gets shown up
yeah.
so much.
He's only won a Champions League with Barcelona.
Barcelona.
and he
that's-
had Messi in his
best team
team,
of all time, pretty
Xavi,
much, yeah.
Iniesta, Puyol, Piqué. He had
I'm not
one of the
I'm not
best
being
teams
funny.
ever.
I could win the Champions League with that Barca team.
You literally just say, "Go on, lads, go and do your thing."
You don't even do that. You just go. Do you just want to win? You're bothered.
It's
Yeah,
literally
go.
there because you have to have a manager. You could have stuck anyone in charge, pretty much. Let's be
We're
honest.
exaggerating a bit, but I understand what you mean.
But you could have
Yeah.
any decent manager in charge. Like, you're obviously not going to.
Pellegrini would have won the Champions League with that Barcelona squad.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
But, moving it on. So Arsenal, Southampton. What are our opinions on that? Anyone watch the game?
I didn't watch it.
I did.
Did you?
Arsenal's defense is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Thought Southampton were brilliant.
They were, but that's because I think Arsenal's defense, they don't know how to. It's like organising defense. There's no leader at the back. You have Socrates, who can't even plough at the back, and then you've got David Luiz, who just goes missing all the time. He steps out of his line, leaves an offside. Like,
You see
I don't
David
know
Luiz
what
for
they're
the first Southampton goal. He wasn't even looking at the ball. Danny Ings just
Mate,
ran
what's
past.
Socrates doing when he tried dribbling it out from
Yeah,
the back? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
he just
but-
went brain dead.
Yeah,
there
but I'm
or-
not being funny. I think Arsenal's problems are a lot deeper than.
It starts from
Just-
the top. I mean, I haven't
Stan
done
Kroenke
anything
did
to
it
turn
all
up
the
to
time.
the games, do they? Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Arsenal, Man United were the two best clubs in England.
And now
Are now two
underperforming,
laughing
yeah.
stocks. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
My thing with Arsenal is I think that they're still not comfortable with stuff like the captaincy, and
Yeah, that
Stuff
Xhaka
like that.
situation has
That
just
Xhaka
proved the lack
situation
of leadership
has proved- yeah.
throughout the whole squad, in my opinion. So are we all Emery in or Emery out?
Oh, Emery needs to go.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to replace him with, but
Pellegrini.
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
they can have Pellegrini. That's fine.
I don't think his days are numbered there. That's for sure.
Shaq?
As a United fan, Emery in because, Arsenal's our rivals. But neutral, out, and get in that Ajax manager or Allegri or
Please
something.
don't get the Ajax
That's
manager.
what, if you're a smart owner, you would look at.
See,
them
do you know
two.
the thing that
Yeah.
worries me about Arsenal? I look at their squad and I think if they got a decent manager, I genuinely believe Arsenal could be title fighters.
I don't. I think their
chance.
squad's awful.
No,
Look
I
at it,
think
what David Luiz, Socrates. Neither of them can really.
Yeah,
They're both
Except from
useless.
Lacazette and
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang.
Pepe will come good, I think.
Like
A
I
lot
said,
of
Aubameyang-
Arsenal
Maybe at
fans
some
banging
point.
on about Ozil, but he's inconsistent. You
Yeah,
can't have a creator.
Ozil's inconsistent because he gets taken in and out of the team. He's had an unfair
Yeah,
stick.
but even when he did get loads of game time last season,
Under Wenger as well. he
Yeah,
was
under Wenger,
inconsistent.
inconsistent.
He just goes missing all
Yeah.
the
He
time.
does.
if they're on top in a game, he's good. If
What-
they're not,
what's
he's
the name?
terrible.
Oh, what's the name of that 19-year-old kid at Arsenal?
Saka.
What? Or Martinelli?
Guendouzi.
Well, look-
Martinelli. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Martinelli's
brilliant.
got.
They
very
got a few
bright
good
future.
youngsters to be
Yeah.
fair
Yeah,
at
they do.
Arsenal.
They have the youngsters are good, but right now, present.
Yeah.
So
awful.
we're all
Yeah.
saying Emery out. So am I. I think Emery's awful, and a lot of Arsenal fans are saying they'll swap Emery for Pellegrini. I would rather have Lee Bowyer in charge
Oh, God.
than
I'd-
Emery.
Lebo's done brilliant.
I'd
at
rather
Cheltenham.
have Pardew or
yeah,
Allardyce.
anyone over
Honestly.
Emery. I'm sorry. I just don't think he suits the Premier League personally. But anyway, moving it on to Southampton, who managed to get a 2-2 draw, which in theory is a good result. But when you look at the stats, they had 21 shots in the game,
Only
and they still
six
only
on
managed
target.
to draw. And Arsenal only had 12. Yes, Arsenal have more of the ball, but same with West
Well, that's what
Ham,
happens
not
with
doing
big-
anything with it. Yeah. But I thought Southampton had so many chances, and that I'm
not clinical
butchering the
enough.
name now, but you know that Gineppo, he missed a
Gineppo,
few
yeah.
sitters.
Blonde hair one, right?
Yeah, the black guy with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
In their situation, when you're in a relegation battle, you can't be missing chances away from home, especially at the Emirates. I mean, no matter how bad Arsenal are, it's still against Arsenal, right? And their squad can only get so bad, unfortunately. But I mean, it's a good result. But looking at the game, I don't think 2-2. I think 2-2 flattered Arsenal. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with that.
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, did a lot.
So, would you take any of the Arsenal players from their team and stick them in ours,
Well,
other than
You'd have to.
Well,
the
yeah,
Aubameyang
Aubameyang and-
Lacazette?
I was going to say, Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Well, right now, Leno, but and probably Kieran Tierney. Of
Hold
that.
on.
Yeah, I like Tierney.
Apart from
So,
giving
no, they
away
do have a
penalty
few good
each.
individual players. Torreira, I think, is good. The youngsters,
Doesn't want to be there, though,
Guendouzi.
does he? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't.
There's no chemistry.
With the right manager, decent. And they need to sort out
But-
those central defenders, but they're
Yeah.
decent. But so do we think it's coming to the end for Hasenhüttl? Because even when they are playing well, for example, against Arsenal, they're still not getting results, and that's what Tottenham, for example, have done. They
Yeah,
brought Mourinho
I
for
think
results.
it is.
I really like him as a manager, but
Yeah.
it's not working at
Not
Southampton.
not right for He doesn't have enough
think-
money. Is the
Yeah, I
squad,
think,
does he,
and the
really?
problem is when you look at that Southampton squad, yeah, they scored 2, but where are they going to get the goals from?
I think
Danny Ings
Hasenhüttl
is
would
their
be
top.
brilliant at Everton. I honestly think he would. He'd have a bit more money. Have a few more players. You're
I'm
willing
sorry,
to
yeah, that's a
hack
that's a
people's
joke in
feet.
itself, though. The fact we've got to a point where you get more money at Everton than you would at Arsenal.
Everton
Yeah,
have
it's
got
true.
some.
But they have got the
brilliant
billionaire
owners,
owners
yeah.
at Everton. It's
Yeah.
just they've spent terribly over the last few
Yeah,
years.
definitely.
I mean, you look at
With
that.
numerous flops.
Yeah, so
like
many
David
flops. I mean, you
Carson.
look at Iwobi, 40 million on Iwobi. Who decided that was a good idea?
Who made that goal?
But so do we think Southampton will go down?
Is looking more and more likely, isn't it? Really.
What do you think, Elliot?
I think January will be the key for Southampton.
What if they bring in the right players? Do you think they'll stay up?
Yeah, I think yeah, 100%.
With Hasenhüttl in charge or not?
Yeah, I reckon Hasenhüttl in charge, maybe one or two players. That's all they really need. Because I think when you watch the Arsenal game, they had good possession, they had good passing, but it's their clinicality. So I think maybe bringing someone who's more of a clinical finisher but doesn't play the role of tracking back into midfield as well.
They need to actually spend like money. They'll just buy like another striker
Carrillo.
to try and fill him.
28 million this one on Carrillo. I know he's gone out on loan, I'm pretty sure.
They-
They might have got rid of him on the free.
But-
If you are a Southampton fan, let me know in the comments because I'm not sure about that one. But they, like Gineppo, he scored that one solo goal, but still missing chances. Danny Ings, I think, is a great player, but I think you need someone a bit quicker up there with him because he's a clinical
Yeah.
finisher.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He
But-
can't be a starting striker for a team that wants to stay up in the Premier League. Really?
Well, you don't think Danny Ings is
No,
good
I
enough?
think
I think
he's
he's better in a 2.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think-
100%.
I
I think he's
100% agree with
okay.
that.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't really think. Nah, he's.
You
I
don't
think
rate
he's
him
too.
at all.
No, not
With the
really.
way that Hasenhüttl wants to play, considering he's an aggressive player, do you not think he suits the style of play?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think he has the quality really. Ings. He's lost a yard or two of pace because he keeps getting.
That's why
All
I'm
the
saying you
injuries.
put someone quicker up front with him. So say you had a Jamie Vardy. I'm not saying they're going to get Jamie Vardy, but that kind of player up front with him, you don't think he'd be any good?
Put Che Adams up there, but Che Adams is awful as well. He's
The
not.
thing is, Che Adams, I honestly, I was jealous when they signed him, but it just proves the gap between the Championship and the Premier League, and a lot of players don't make it.
Well, but it's
In some cases.
yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah,
like
but a lot of
Maupay,
players
like
don't.
the Brighton striker, he's
Malpay, I think he's good. I think he's
Yeah,
a good
he's good.
player. So, but Pookie, with the right team around him, he could be a good player. He had a good start, but as soon as Norwich starts struggling, he starts struggling. So, proves that he's not really a carry as much as what people thought he was. I mean, that Campbell that got a Norwich good player.
Yeah.
Moving it on to Chelsea, Manchester City. Did any of you watch the game at all?
I watched bits, but
I've seen the highlights.
Yeah, I've seen a few highlights. I was busy on the weekend.
So, who do you think deserved to win the game?
Well, of what I've seen, heard, because I didn't actually watch the whole game. Chelsea were the better team, weren't they? But like, I think it was a good contested game.
Yeah, it was a very tight, entertaining game. But it surprises me because a lot of people are saying. I was watching Sunday Supplement on Sunday, and there was one guy on there saying that it's coming to the end for Pep. But I think it's madness that we're now saying after how many points ahead are Liverpool now? Is it 9 points?
Yeah, but they were
But
last
after
season.
but after 9 points away from the top, so people are suddenly saying, "Oh my God, Pep, what's going on?" That's only because for the last 2 years they have been pretty much on top. Yes, it was very close last season,
But that was two excellent teams.
but
last
people
season.
aren't used to Pep not succeeding.
Yeah, but
so
my thing is I can sort of get that. Is it time for Pep? In a weird way, I can sort of see that.
I do get it,
I can
but
see
it
him
just
leaving
seems
at
a
the
bit
end of the season.
absurd
I
that
can
we're
see
suddenly
him
saying.
leaving Man City and going to another top club in a different
I can
league.
see him going to somewhere like Juventus. I honestly can. He
I
hasn't
think
been
he'd
to
do
Italy
so
yet.
well at Juventus.
He hasn't been to Italy yet.
but the way Pep's
and-
been talked about over the years, he should be doing better with the Man City team. Like
Yeah.
people go on about him like he's better, like he's the best manager of all time.
They won all the English trophies last season. He's done amazingly there.
But that's expected because look at all the players he has. He's got 2 teams.
Yeah, I
that
know
could
all the
win
money
Prem.
and all that, but
I'm not being funny. The Man City bench, I believe that they will walk the first team of nearly every other club, bar
definitely.
Liverpool.
Bar Liverpool, yeah.
Bar Liverpool, that bench is walking nearly every other
Or
club.
Bar Leicester, you could say.
So, do we all think that Lampard will be successful in his time at Chelsea?
oh yeah,
I think so.
100%.
he's doing that with a transfer ban.
He's doing this with a transfer ban and a bunch of youth.
What do you
He's-
think, opinions, Shep?
I think so. He's intelligent. You saw on the pitch when he used to play back in the day. He's an intelligent player. He's going to be a great manager, I think.
So do we?
I think he can read the game very well.
I thought it was too early for him at the start of the season, but he's shown that he's ready.
The way they play football is brilliant.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it's better than Man City and Liverpool. The way they play football. If Lampard had the squad that Klopp or Pep Guardiola had, I guarantee they play better. Football.
Chelsea are one of the most exciting teams.
Oh, definitely.
They've-
I compare them to Ajax. The way
they
they
have
play football.
such good
Quick
youth.
on the floor, attacking, lovely.
Thing is, it's actually such a blessing the transfer ban because I think, to be honest, even
It's
if
opened their eyes up. To
yeah,
youth, hasn't it?
because they had such a good youth setup this whole time. Like KDB came from there, Lukaku. Like, it's good that they're actually feeding through youth now.
Yeah. So, like, do we think that Chelsea need to spend big in January, or do we think they should bring in a couple of players and leave it at that?
I say a couple and leave it.
Yeah.
I think maybe bring in a backup for Hudson-Odoi, but keep Hudson-Odoi as a starter. Because the problem is,
He's not even starting.
He's not starting Pulisic, he's starting
Yeah,
with
but-
Willian, isn't he?
yeah, but the thing is, I'd honestly rather start Hudson-Odoi.
What,
might
with
be.
Pulisic in good form, scoring goals?
Yeah, but I wouldn't take Pulisic out.
But
Would you
Willian,
take
but
out
Willian's also playing
Willian's
well.
in form, scoring goals.
I'd take
setting
Willian
up
out.
goals.
I'd honestly take Willian out.
They need.
Chuck Hudson-Odoi.
I think they need new left back, and probably like a midfield and
Yeah,
a few players
Alonso's
in
done.
there.
Frank,
really.
as a West Ham fan, Frank Lampard scares me though. He scares me at Chelsea. The way he plays football, it is so.
I think I said this on the last podcast we did, which is up on SoundCloud. I think that Lampard is future England manager. Whether it's in 5 years'
I reckon he
time
might
or
be
50
better than that,
years'
though.
time.
I genuinely, I agree with Sean. I reckon it will get to a point where he'll go England. No.
Because like
Well,
I
no,
reckon he
mean,
could
like,
be
to
at Chelsea.
finish off his managing career.
mean- Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I think if Abramovich actually just lets Lampard stay, I reckon he'd be at Chelsea for a long, long time and do well there and win trophies.
Could Lampard be the next Wenger? Could
That's a
he?
big
stay-
Oh,
statement.
we need to calm
That's a
down a
big
bit.
statement.
This is a bit too
That
much.
is a big statement, but I see where you're going. He could be there for a long time because obviously he was there for a long time as a player. After West Ham
I'm
chucks
sorry,
him out.
that still hurts me though.
Yeah,
The
I
fact
don't
we
get
sold
it.
him and a direct quote from the club was he was not West Ham quality.
Oh my! Yeah, he wasn't. He was too good for West Ham. But never
Oh my
mind.
heart.
So do we think that Man City are too busy focusing on the Champions League and it's affecting the league?
Well,
form?
Pep said he's focusing on the Champions League, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
So, but do you think they actually are? Do you reckon that's a bit of an
Excuse.
excuse?
no, I reckon he will.
I reckon he will.
Because
I reckon.
he's won everything in England. He wants the Champions
Yeah.
League with Man City.
I reckon he wants the champion. I reckon if he gets the Champions League with Man City this season, he'll quit.
go.
He'll
yeah.
I reckon he'll
his
quit
reputation.
anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think,
He's
Jack?
getting
I
bored
just
of
don't think
English
he will win the Champions League though.
I don't know if he
he's
will.
Why
had
is that?
the season 2017-18 where they finished 100 something points.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that was the perfect year to win the
100
Champions
points,
League.
wasn't it? Or 101,
Something like that.
Yeah,
And
100
100
something.
goals, wasn't it?
Everything was clicking for them. Everything was perfect, and that was the time to win the Champions League. Now you're dipping in form here and there. Yeah, you won against Chelsea or whatever.
And they've got more competition in the league because Liverpool have propped up.
I don't think he will do it.
Whereas in the 17-18 season, they had hardly any competition at all. did they?
17-18 season, it was pretty much just.
I mean, you had Man United finishing second.
It was
I
a
mean,
race for second.
With Chris Smalling.
Terrible, wasn't it?
Chris Smalling's a beast now
Now he is. Yeah.
in Roma.
So, do we think Man City can make up the gap and catch up Liverpool? Or do you think this is Liverpool's year?
It's done. Liverpool's won it.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's sad, but
I don't know. They could
I
drop
don't know.
off, but I reckon
they've
it's
lost the
definitely
game.
theirs to lose. It's definitely.
Yeah.
It's about time they win it, isn't it?
They've not
I
lost
mean,
the
there's
game.
only so much bad luck you can have. They are getting very lucky at the minute,
Yeah, they're getting very lucky.
but they didn't have much luck last season.
Yeah,
let's
but at the
be
same time,
honest.
there's only so much good luck you can have.
Yeah, but like over the years,
they
had
won't go
their fair
undefeated or
share of bad
anything.
luck.
They definitely will lose at some point, but
But they have that Champions type luck. Like everything just goes right for them at the moment,
Yeah.
and I think they'll just get it over the line and win the league.
So we all think that Liverpool will win it this year, then.
It's theirs to lose.
or Leicester.
Yeah, I agree. So with Chelsea, do we think they'll get top 4 and why?
Yes.
Yeah,
Why?
because
I think Frank will make them want it.
actually now that I say that, I don't know if they had the squad depth. I think they might. I think they might get fourth.
If
But-
they don't finish
think
in the
the
top
camera's
4, who would instead of them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But they don't have the squad depth at the same time.
But,
who would? Who's even around?
What?
Who's even around the places right now?
I think you've got Wolves in 5th, Sheffield United. No,
Spurs could with Mourinho.
is it Burnley 7th, Sheffield United 6th, or is it the other way around?
Sheffield
It's the other way
United are
around, I
6th.
think.
Sheffield United 6th.
Yeah,
Is
Sheffield
it?
to 6.
I know that.
Blade to 6.
But I mean, you've got Leicester in 2nd. Is it?
They're
still
definitely gonna get
second,
top
aren't
4.
they?
Leicester
Yeah.
will get top 4 again.
They're brilliant. And I love the way they play football. So we're all saying that Chelsea will get top 4.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
I reckon they can, but I reckon if they do, they'll need more squad depth in the summer to play the Champions League football next season.
Yeah. So, so you think they'll get top 4, Shaq?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think they've got too much quality. When you look at Man United, you look at Arsenal, and they're not going to be getting top 4. They're nowhere near it. Tottenham, maybe. But I can't see Sheffield United, Burnley and Wolves getting it. So I think that top 4 is how it will be.
Yeah.
Not in order, but I think that'll be the top 4
That'll
at the
be
end
the
of the
4, yeah.
season. Anyway, moving it on from
to-
Man City, Chelsea, we're going to be talking about Man
Man U.
United. They played against Sheffield United, got a 3-3 draw. I
Thriller.
thought Sheffield United were, they deserved the win, in my opinion. I don't know if that's biased because I'm not a big fan of Man United. No offence to
Well, they
Sky.
did, didn't they, though?
But do we think Ollie deserves time and money, or does he go out?
I think
No one wants that job, so just keep him.
As I
I
said
mean, Rashford's came out in defence of him, so just keep him until maybe the end of the season.
just
Until
keep,
the players-
just keep in until there's a point where a manager might think, oh, maybe the Man U job.
But
'Cause
what
right-
about Pochettino?
Changing
Would you
the
not
manager-
sack him now? and
Pochettino's
bring
got to
in
go to
Pochettino?
Munich, I think.
Changing
Because
the
Munich still don't
manager's
have a
Nah.
squad.
Nah, if
To
we're,
add
if we're
manager, I
talking
mean.
Poch, I reckon Poch is going to end up at Madrid.
Yeah, but Bayern Munich don't have a manager. And he's the best manager that's...
Without-
Three.
Or
yeah.
maybe Max Allegri. He's still available.
Allegri's decent, but I don't think he's. I wouldn't win you the Champions League, in my opinion. That's my opinion, right?
He got to the final... He did get to the final, didn't he, with Juve?
Was he the manager there?
I think he was. He was...
I think that was his. Was that his first season? I'm not very equipped when it comes to.
We got to the final
things
16,
about-
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Mandzukic overhead kick. Do you
Yeah.
remember it?
Ridiculous goal.
So we're saying. What? So what are you saying, Elliot? Are you saying Ollie in or out?
Out.
Now, right? Okay.
What,
Sure.
right now?
I think just in right now. Because, I mean, I don't see Man U getting
At
anyone
what
better.
point do you say right? Enough is enough. We'll get rid.
I think
of him?
till the end of the season, because like with that squad, I don't actually know who would want to go there and who would do better. Really,
So say Pochettino approaches the board and says, "Right, I'm interested." Would you sack him?
Yeah, 100%.
well then yeah, but I don't think that would happen. So,
But if it would happen,
well, if it would happen, then yeah, but I don't think it will.
so Shaq, this is your moment to shine. You're a Manchester United fan. What do you think?
Nothing's going to change until you get rid of the Glazers, until you get rid of
True.
Ed Woodward. And then you'll start to see things on the pitch start to change because you've got people at the top of the club who are not backing the manager in the transfer windows, who have put the club in debt. I think 140 million.
They're
They
just
record-
taking money from the club,
It's
aren't
just,
they?
If you get Poch in, right, you'll probably have a good honeymoon period, but then you'll just see the same cycle repeating itself all the time.
Did you see that?
I don't know.
Ed Woodward and Alex Ferguson shouting
know
at
what
each
that
other.
was about.
Argument, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, Ed Woodward looked furious, didn't he? I thought it was hilarious.
changing the manager is not going to help Manchester United. You can bring in bloody Pep Guardiola.
I think-
nothing's going to change until you get rid
So
of
you
them.
don't think bringing in Pochettino would make any difference
Nope.
whatsoever?
I think you're right. I think the Glazers are the big problem there,
Yeah.
really.
It's the
Mr.
owners. as
Board.
always.
But
Starts at the
are
top.
you? But so at the moment, would you say Ollie in because no matter who you get,
Yeah.
doesn't matter, and the players seem to like Ollie.
And I don't think he's. People say he's underachieving, but if you look at our team, right, and you compare it to Leicester, Sheffield, do you really expect us to be in that top 4 position if you look
no,
at the players
I
that we
don't.
have?
And I said that at the start of the
We have
season.
2 world-class players.
Oh, I
and that's it.
didn't actually. My prediction video on the YouTube channel I've got. Yeah, I did say Man United finished 4th, but that's because let's not talk about that. I said Chelsea have finished 6th.
Matic is still getting games in that squad.
He hasn't been
Like,
recently,
he's-
actually. It's been a McTominay, Fred.
Yeah,
Fred-
I like
oh, Fred.
McTominay.
I don't know how that guy's Brazilian.
McTominay's good.
McTominay's
I
baller.
rate him.
He's one
Yeah,
of
I
the best
really
players.
do rate
McTominay
him.
is
That
baller.
is it Williams? The guy
Brandon,
who scored?
Left
Brandon
back, yeah,
Williams.
he's good.
Mate,
Um,
he looks like a
Got
baller
Mason
as
Greenwood.
well.
We're in the same plot as Arsenal. We've got great youngsters
Yeah.
that are just pulling us through. That's it.
And a terrible board with average manager.
Average manager.
Yeah, it's the exact
It's
same.
exact same.
And it's 2 giant clubs underachieving due to crap board and crap
Crap owners,
manager
yeah.
and the lack of
And then
leadership
there's
in the
us
team.
underachieving because our crap board.
And crap manager, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, what are our opinions on Sheffield United as a whole? What's your opinions on Chris Wilder and what he's done for Sheffield?
I'm shocked.
Wilder's revolutionary.
He's a bit of a genius.
When
With the overlapping centre backs.
when Sheffield first came up, I genuinely thought they were just going to drop again.
I
So
thought
did I.
the overlapping centre back wasn't going to work.
He's revolutionised it.
But I just think the way that they play some beautiful football along the floor. But you know what I love about the Sheffield United team, especially, is the fact that they don't have any players in the team where you think, yeah, he's their best player. They don't have a best player. The whole team are together. They are a squad, yeah. That's what I love about them. Whereas you
And
look
I
at most teams and you can say that's their best
I
player.
think that's a championship thing, though.
Yeah.
Well, they basically have the same squad that they had in
Yeah,
League One.
yeah, they brought in few here and there, but most of them
It's
are
it's
from
the
the same
champion.
team.
It's the championship thing of the whole. There's no one player. We are a team. Let's
I mean,
play
Norwich
as
is
a team.
just Pookie,
Yeah.
really.
So where do we think Sheffield United will finish? Will they finish top 10 or do you reckon they'll slip off?
I reckon they'll finish mid-table, like 10th, 11th,
Yeah,
around
mid-table.
there.
Yeah,
Shaq?
I think they'll finish a bit higher, maybe 8th, 7th.
Do you?
Yeah, I think if
They could.
it's so hard to predict because from 4th downwards, when you look at Wolves, they were what 17th 4 or 5 weeks ago, and now they're 5th. So it can change so quickly.
can.
But I reckon they'll be around 10th. So they could be 11th or 12th, or they could be 8th or 9th.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'll go
they'll be
10 as
around
a
that, but they
centre
will
point
not
and
be
then-
in the relegation battle at all.
No
I bet
way.
you. Maybe a little bit towards the end. Maybe if they have a bit of a bad form, they might be going, oh, we might
Like,
be slipping down.
If
here,
teams, if there's a blueprint for how to beat Sheffield, then I reckon they'll start to struggle. But right now they're
They're too
flying.
unorthodox to know how to properly nullify them. Like they do all this overlapping centre back stuff. Teams are a bit like when they come to Sheffield, they're like, oh, I don't know what's.
Oh,
gonna
what's
happen
this? This
Yeah,
is
Here.
yeah.
This is new.
Like
no
Liverpool
one
struggled with
knows
them as
because
well.
you can't look at their players and go, I'm sorry, but I don't care what manager you are until you have your analysts sit down and say, right, this player does this. I can't look at one player in that Sheffield United team where I go, right, this is his strengths and weaknesses. It's so hard to predict them because no one knows many of their players other than people that work at the club. No, you tell me what, Elliot. You tell me one player his strengths and weaknesses at Sheffield United.
I can't name you one player at Sheffield United.
Dean
Yeah.
Henderson,
Dean Henderson.
But
Man
what's his
United.
strengths and
Lundstram.
weaknesses?
great shot stopper.
And his weaknesses?
Probably.
Handling probably because against Liverpool,
Oh, yeah,
he
that
fumbled the ball.
Any other players?
Robinson, is it Robinson?
Well, you got like McBurn.
front?
You got their strikers, McBurney, McGoldrick. They work hard, but they're not actually
Norwood, I
good
think.
strikers.
Yeah, they lack quality. But do you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They all
Sheffield
try
United
hard.
is all-
They
they
try
all
their
play
hardest.
together. So I'm probably gonna say this name wrong, but you know that Fleck, John? Is it John Fleck?
Yeah.
After the game, he said, we don't have the best quality, but we work so hard, and it's true.
It was like
you know.
Burnley a few seasons ago when they finished about 7th. It's the
Yeah, they
same
finished
type of.
seventh. Yeah, they didn't
yeah.
have any individuals. They were a team. But Sheffield United, we are overachieving. But good luck to them. I love Chris Wilder. I wouldn't mind him at West Ham. But
England job maybe. Future.
You know what?
England,
Yeah, he
England
could be, but I think Lampard is above him at the moment. But moving on to Everton, they got beaten 2-0 at home
Is this our last
to
one?
Norwich. This is we'll probably make this the last one.
Yeah, because I think we've been recording for over an hour.
Yeah. But don't worry, everyone listening. We will be doing another one next week. So
Yeah.
anything we haven't covered, put it in the comments, or go and follow Totally Football Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and you can message us or tweet us on there, and let us know any suggestions you want us to talk about on the show, and we could do like a kind of social thing like they do on West Ham Fan TV.
Yeah.
Or any other TV, the Man United Fan TV have one.
I got bored of full-time Devils and United stand.
I was going to say, yeah, United stand.
Yeah, so
full-time
any
Devils.
suggestions of what you want us to talk about, just send them in, and we might talk
My
about a
favourite,
few if there's good suggestions.
really weird tangent. My favourite fan TV channel,
Arsenal.
MK Dons TV.
Oh god.
Oh, don't talk about
Let's not
MK
talk about
Dons, man.
TV. Let's talk about Everton.
MK Dons is the worst club ever.
So-
yeah, but
so-
I love
franchise
the guy who does
football.
their TV 'cause he's
So
got
talking
glasses, he does a
about
annoying voice.
Everton, right?
It's
Moving
funny.
it on to Everton. Are we saying Silva in or out?
Oh, it has to be out now.
Yeah, he's got to be out now. It's
Jack-
just time.
He's a bit overrated, isn't it? Like I don't understand how he got the job in the first place. What's he done that's been like, wow?
I mean,
Hull? Was it Hull
They
City?
played good football.
he was good at the
Hull,
end.
but
He was good when he came in at Hull, like
Yeah.
the end of the
But he
season.
didn't keep him
Still
up.
got relegated.
Didn't
And then
he-
he was good at the beginning of Watford.
he got the sack, didn't he?
He's like
Yeah.
Emery. He's not a result man.
I think he just has that footballing manager name, like Marco Silva. It sounds like, oh, he could be good, but no, he's not.
Yeah,
It's like a
It's like Emery. I'm sorry. It's like Emery.
Villa Boas a few seasons ago when
Yeah.
he was at Tottenham and Chelsea.
Everyone thinks they're good, but they don't actually have a
Yeah.
reason why they're good. It's just everyone knows they're good. It's almost like we've been radicalised into thinking that these managers are good, but they're actually not. They're a load of crap. But if you ever walked up to someone, an Everton fan, who said he's good and said, "Why is he good?" I bet he wouldn't be able to tell you why. He just thinks he's good because just the name Marco Silva, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what do you think, Everton? Do you think it's solely on the manager, or do you think there's a lack of leadership maybe there? What do you think?
I think it's solely on the manager.
You reckon?
Yeah, I mean they have the players there.
I mean,
Like the board's good. The board's giving them money. I don't
I'm
know
quite-
what's actually going wrong in Everton.
yeah, I mean, I think there's a slight leadership issue, but I think that stems from the manager.
Yeah.
I think the manager doesn't give any player enough confidence to have that leadership role, and I think the captain armband there is just sort of like, oh, okay.
So they're talking about bringing in either David Moyes or Eddie Howe at Everton. If you were Everton, who would you bring in?
You
and
wouldn't want
why?
any of them, really, do you? Really? Just bring David Moyes in.
Yeah.
Keep him up.
Bring Moyes in.
And he proved that West Ham he can keep a team up. What do you think, Shaq?
I don't really rate Moyes though. I think he's lost it.
I don't-
I think Eddie Howe would be also bad.
But do
I
you not think that Moyes did a good job at West Ham to convert Arnautovic to striker, make him the player he was, and keep us up convincingly?
We don't mention that name.
I think it depends what they want. If they just want to survive, Everton, okay, cool. But if you're thinking of the long term, bring someone.
I mean,
for
it
that
has to be
long-term
just
appointment.
survive now, don't it? Really?
Yeah, they have to be survived. They have to have a
Where are they
Moyes.
in the league? I'm not sure.
Like
They
16th.
are, they're 16th. Yeah, but and then Villa went up to 15th, didn't they? So.
Yeah.
So in my opinion on it is you bring in someone like Moyes for the rest of the season, Moyes for the rest of the
Yeah, Moyes,
season,
yeah.
Moyes.
and then you go more long term with other Eddie Howe, Ajax manager,
They won't get
you know,
this one.
anyone who they think can take them as a project.
Rafa's arse.
Rafa at Everton.
Back off.
Actually, no, Liverpool.
Actually, no, he
Liverpool
wouldn't.
connection.
No, he wouldn't go. No,
He
he wouldn't go
wouldn't.
to. He
Well-
wouldn't go to Everton. I think Eddie Howe is made for Everton. I honestly
Yes.
think he is.
100%.
I think he's more suited towards the Arsenal.
What about
One
I
one
haven't
day
mentioned this
Everton will
name
get
yet.
into the top 5.
What about Bielsa from Leeds? Because
I'm
he's
sorry.
a bloody good manager. It's just I don't think he's had much luck there.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of luck there really. Who take a punt on him? Maybe.
If you listen to any Leeds fans or anyone
love
involved in
him.
the club, they absolutely love him. And look, he hasn't got them promoted like they want, but they absolutely love him for a reason because he's a great manager.
Yeah, he is.
But talking about Norwich, just the second to last topic. So I would like to ask you all a question at the end here. We're going to make this a weekly thing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Will Norwich stay up or will they go down? My opinion on it is I'm going to stick my original prediction. The defence isn't good enough. The attack is too inconsistent. Same with the midfield. They will go down. Even
They
if it's
are
only an
most
18th, they're
definitely
going down.
They
They
are
are
100%
most
dropping.
Yeah. But Falkner won't get sacked or anything, but they're still going down.
What, you reckon he'll go on, he'll leave at the end of the season?
Oh no, he'll just stay. He'll stay.
What, like Rafa did with Newcastle? And
yeah,
Dyche with
because
Burnley?
he did such a good job with them in the Championship. They won't sack him.
Yeah. What do you think, Shaq?
I think because they play such an expansive, or they try to play expansive type of football, they leave too many gaps in the
Yeah,
defence.
yeah.
They're going to leak a lot of goals. They
It's a bit
really
like
have.
Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since they don't have as much quality as Bournemouth.
I think they're going down as well.
So we all think Norwich are going down.
Yeah.
So do I. Let's list right our bottom 3 and our top 4. Everyone in the comments as well, or DM us your ideas, and we'll maybe read out a few if we think they're controversial. Your bottom 3 and top 4. Who do you think they'll be? This is this is adding in there. We're gonna have one more.
Are
or
we
2
doing
more
it in
questions
order? Are we
afterwards.
doing it in order or just?
Don't have to do
Oh,
it. in
no,
order.
I ain't
Just
doing
top
order.
4 and,
Right, the
and
top
bottom
4.
3.
Who's starting you?
The two
Yeah.
that are now
Alright.
done, City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Then Tottenham will get there. And Leicester, I reckon.
Do you think Chelsea miss out?
I don't know. I think
Well,
Chelsea.
you
hard, isn't
clearly do if you think.
Come on, you guys.
All
just
right,
picked up
that's your
Frank Lampard.
prediction. We're going to stick with that. You don't
Yeah.
want to go. So, Sean, what do you think?
Top. I think top four. What it is. What is going to be what it is right now.
Okay, Shaq.
Yeah, probably Liverpool, City, Leicester, Chelsea.
I'm going to be boring and agree. I think it will be Leicester. There's too much of a gap. Chelsea and Leicester playing great football. Liverpool and City are going to not get top four. So bottom three, I'll start it off. I'm not sure. I think it's the same as it is now. And that sounds stupid to say this. I honestly think it will be Norwich, Southampton and Watford. I think none of them have got good enough defences and they're not good enough in attack. So what do you think, Elliot?
I'd agree. I think maybe Southampton, but I don't know who would swap for Southampton. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. But no, I'd have to agree with you.
What do you think, Sean?
I think Norwich, Southampton, and Newcastle. I reckon Watford will stay up. They'll get a run of form and they'll stay up. They're too good to go down.
What do you think, Shaq?
Watford, Norwich, Southampton. I don't know what order, but that's what I think.
I just can't see anyone else not doing it. So. Anyway, lads, thanks for joining us
Thank you.
today. Hopefully
Thank
see
you
you
very
all
much.
next week.
Yeah,
We hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching. Make sure to go and follow Totally Football Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know any suggestions you
And
want us to talk
YouTube.
about, and YouTube and SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you
you.
so much for watching. See you later.